Hello and welcome again to another episode of Mind Renovation Nation. I am your host, Nathan Bush. In each show, we share with you lessons from our real-life real estate experience and journey. We're inviting industry experts, innovators, and influencers to explore the challenges in small multifamily real estate. We designed this show to answer the questions you have about connecting in real estate, and so today's show is all going to be about how to connect. If you want more of these types of resources regularly, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel or head over to www.nathanbushmba.com/subscribe. Check out the other resources in the show descriptions. And if at any time during the show you guys have got questions, I am happy to jump in and have those conversations and answer those questions for you. So how's it going? I mean, this is the show all about connecting. If you guys are watching live right now or you are participating online, go ahead and put in the comments. Share who you are, where you're from, and why you're here. What do you hope to gain today from today's show all about connecting? I want to walk you step by step through the connecting process and help you achieve that significantly faster in your relationships. Because I know a lot of times what we find is that people don't connect for a number of different reasons. Number one, they want to rush to sell whatever product or service that they have. And this can be a very difficult thing for new real estate investors to break. They want to rush in and talk about what they do and who they are, but they don't take the time to connect with the people around them. The second thing that I find when people are connecting is not only do they rush, but they don't understand how important the relationship is, even over whatever it is that they're trying to achieve or whatever their goals are that they have. And so today's show, we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of that relationship and how important it is to focus on the long-term aspects and the care of another human being. And then lastly, one of the reasons I know that a lot of people have difficulty connecting is that they don't put the emphasis on adding the value to the other person. They're so interested or intrigued in order to be able to get their point across or whatever they need to communicate, that they don't take time to stop and listen to the other person during the connection process. They want to rush into their next point or their next line. And this is so true and evident, not just in real estate, but for sales professionals or business professionals, when you're in a networking function or even in the event that you're trying to go to like a cold call situation or you're sending out your direct mailer. I want you to start thinking about relationships from the standpoint of valuing other human beings. This is one of the most difficult things for business people and entrepreneurs to get into their being, their psyche, who they are. It's difficult for them to get into their presence, that the relationship matters, you matter. Just like guys, you're listening here online, you matter to me. And so everything I share with you today is not to be used for manipulation or oppression or tricks or tactics. I want you to utilize these as resources to slow down and start to care about others. And so we're going to cover that information and stuff today. I really want to take a second and tell you guys, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please go over and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're at 250 subscribers right now, and that is fantastic from the standpoint of everybody on YouTube starts the exact same way. We start with 0 subscribers, and if you want to get notified of the show, make sure you click that little bell icon. That will notify you of future shows just like this so that you can get more information and we can stay connected as an individual. And so that's important to me. It's important that you're subscribed to the YouTube show because that will allow us to stay connected, share information, share resources. It's really, as much as a subscriber benefits me long term, and it does. I do appreciate all of you guys that have subscribed to the show already. A subscriber also benefits you, and here's why it benefits you. Because when you subscribe to the show, you're part of the community here at Mind Renovation Nation. And you get to be a part of the conversations that we have. You get to learn and share the information. And quite frankly, I love to have you on the show. So if you haven't been on the show yet and you're part of our community and you're a real estate investor, please reach out and let's connect and let's talk about how to get you on the show. And let's get you connected with the audience as well. All right. So we're talking about connection today. We're talking about how to make connections and how to establish connections. And with that said, connecting is a process, okay? So I want you to first begin to realize and understand that our goal in connecting is not to get through the connection so I can get on to the sales aspect of what I have to do, or get through the connection so I can get to the good stuff about talking business and finding out how we can benefit each other in a network. Or it's not about the aspect of, okay, I want something, so I got to get through the connection phase so I can tell you what it is that I need. That's not the aspect of connecting. When you're going to connect, the first step in the process is the affinity step. Look, if you're going to connect with anybody, especially from a marketing or business standpoint, they need to know, like, and trust you. They need to know, like, and trust you. I think so many times we mess up this like step. We mess up the like step because we know how to be confident. We know how to build trust with other people. This is something that's innate. You know, whenever you're building trust with other people, that you're oftentimes in a situation where you're not putting your integrity issues out in front of yourself. You're not putting your lack of discipline out in front of yourself, especially in the marketplace. Those things are things that you tend to button up and don't lead with in a conversation. So we know how to not step on our trust issue. Okay. We also need to establish this connection of knowing you. But for them to get to know you, they first, in my opinion, have to like you. And so we're going to talk today about this aspect called the affinity. If people don't have a genuine affinity with you, if they don't have established connection with you, this is where the like happens. I'll explain it to you like this on the phone. Have you ever gotten a sales call? Hey, this is Nathan. I'm with XYZ company, and the reason for my call is, you immediately shut down. And it's not because you don't even know if you know that person. They probably have established some level of professionalism on the phone in their delivery, in the context or the connotation of they're saying the words. They're not trying to mislead you. You don't think they're trying to mislead you. But do you like the person on the other end of that phone? Do you like the person who just gave you that phone call? I think it takes time to establish some rapport with somebody in order to be able to even have the conversation. To be granted the right to have the conversation with somebody else, they first have to like you. So how are we going to do that? By establishing genuine affinity. So how could that person be connected with you? If you know a mutual contact through a referral, that might be the best way to lead in that conversation, right? Lead with the genuine connection that you know you already have. That will establish a sense of rapport, an instant like towards you as a person. The second thing that you might want to do is maybe referencing an upcoming mutual holiday that might be being celebrated. Like we just celebrated 4th of July here. Well, how incredible is it that whenever you're having conversations with people, you can ask them about their holiday plans. You have any big plans for the 4th? Or, hey, I'm so excited about 4th of July. Do you love fireworks like I do? These are types of questions to get people to start to like you before you even get into the context of your business. If it's not around a holiday and it's not around a mutual person, it might be a big event that's coming up. Or it might be news that the person is local to, or is national news that's not confrontational or is not a conflict. For instance, one of the things that I used to use back in the day was I was on Channel 2 news for the business, right? So I had actually made the news. And so whenever I called people, I would ask them if they saw the segment with our business on Channel 2 news. That would immediately open up the conversation about being on the news and blah, blah, blah. So you can use local news or you can use national news depending on if that news is going to be controversial or not. right? You don't want to lead with controversial news because that can deter or detract somebody from liking you. But national feel-good news, those are opportunities for you to be able to share with other people a sense of overall connection with them. And so we can lead with those things. Again, people that we mutually know, mutual contacts. We can lead with holidays that we have going on. We can lead with these news accounts. If you don't have anything to lead with, sometimes you can lead with the weather. Man, it's been raining outside. You've been staying dry. That will help you to establish that initial connection with another individual. At least there's something mutual that you guys can gravitate to and talk about. And pay attention more to the other person in the conversation. I know that if you're in sales, you've been trained to know your words. And so many salespeople are in their brain focused on the words that they're trying to say. But they're not in the other person's court focused on the words that they're saying to them. And so we rush through these introductions. We don't spend the time with other people, and we don't establish that genuine connection. So that sense of affinity that we were talking about, this is how you can be connected. This is how you get people to like you. So if you're not liked by people, if you've ever been in the situation like I have been, because I have been known to not be liked by a lot of different people throughout my entire career and stuff like that as I've been growing and getting better. I've gotten better at being likable by spending time trying to establish genuine affinity with other people, things that other people will find engaging and connecting. When you're in a networking event and the person says to you, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" Do you rush right into that conversation? The person says, "Oh, how did you, why are you here at this networking event?" Do you give them a direct answer, or do you work to establish an initial connection right up front? These can be major challenges for people. I know a lot of people that rush through this part and they're so excited about their product or their service that they don't stop to care about the other people, and that's a problem. That's a problem. Oftentimes, I'll ask somebody, "Who invited you to the networking?" I might ask the question about, "How long have you been involved with this group?" I might ask the question when people are there, "Are you interested in real estate? Is that why you're at this group with us? Are you a real estate investor? Do you like to invest? Did you grow up in this area? Do you currently own any real estate or rental properties?" I'm not trying to bring up my product, service, what I do, any of that stuff. I'm trying to establish a genuine affinity with the other person. Now, guys, we've been working through the conversation about genuine affinity right now for about 10 minutes or so. I haven't even got on to the other stuff about how to introduce yourself, not even talking about confidence. Look, we're just talking about the like aspect of know, like, and trust. And if you don't stop to care about what other people like and what other people are interested in, I can assure you that nobody's going to stop to care about the things that you're interested in. We got it? Does that make sense? Is this helpful for you? If it's helpful for you in the comments, put something that you learned or something that you just remembered that you can use in the future to establish genuine affinity with other people. Awesome. So excited for you guys. I really hope that this genuine affinity and building a sense of connection is helpful. Some people call it the art of the small talk. Small talk, it says to me that it's insignificant. I call this affinity talk. What are ways that we're currently connected that I can show that you can like me, that we can build that sense of like together, that we're in likeness together? Because that forms the foundation for knowing you and trusting you. Okay, so how can you show other people that you value them, that you care about them, you're interested in something that they're actually interested in? I'm not talking about manipulation. I'm talking about, what are you genuinely interested in? What's actually going around with you? How are you actually connected to get the like aspect of the know, like, and trust established? Cool. The second aspect that we need to talk about in the connecting process is the introduction. So once you've established the likability factor, how are you mutually connected? How are things going together? How are you How do you know each other? How are there certain things that you're interested in that they're interested in? Are there certain things that you know about that they know about that you're both working on? You've used either local news or the weather or something to establish that genuine like. You've brought up the affinity. Now we need to go into the introduction. A lot of people mess up their introduction. They mess up their introduction. When you introduce yourself, how do you go about introducing yourself to another human being? It's a thought. It's a question. How do you go about introducing yourself to another human being? I personally like to lead with values. One of the things I'm known for when I introduce myself to somebody in a networking situation is I might talk about how I originally grew up in St. Louis and that I married up in St. Louis and that my wife is incredibly intelligent, smart, has her doctorate in leadership. My daughter, you'll probably learn about me, is taken third in the world for ATA Taekwondo for black belts 9 and under. You might hear that story whenever you first connect with me. When I first introduce myself to other people, I'm leading with an introduction about the things I care about, the value. Now, if I need to make an introduction shorter, I might not include all of the information of those details in my introduction, but I am going to stress the important about how I help other people with value. If you met me on the street and you asked me what I did for a living, I might explain to you that I help real estate investors, I help entrepreneurs and salespeople to be able to achieve rapid strategic growth within their organization through a values-based approach, and I help them scale and significantly grow their revenue. Well, how do you do that, Nathan? Well, I can explain that to you now, and now we're engaged in a conversation about the value that I provide to you. But first, understand that I led with my values. I told you it was a values-based approach, okay? Establishing that know now who I am. So the likability is all about you. I care about you. I want to build affinity with you. And so we can have that conversation. The know is who I am, right? And so we need to establish some credibility and authority around what we do so that the other person can know us. And I like to lead with my values. I love to put them in the initial introduction. I like to put them as part of the conversation. I love to put them as part of what I do whenever I'm talking to people for the first time. And then I can give them the reason for the interaction. Then I can give them the reason to move them from step 1 to step 2 in the conversation. Then I can start to engage in probing questions. But I'm not going to move through this process fast, guys. I know so many people who I've spoken with over the years who rush the connection process. And when they rush the connection process, they get lackluster results. And then they wonder why they're not having significant movement in their business. Things aren't growing. They're not going out to establish connections with other organizations. In fact, the likability process is so important that I say it like this. We have to go into the community to give value and look for ways to give value. And those are the types of things that we can often talk about. How can I connect one person with another individual and help those two people grow their businesses, regardless of whether there's anything in it for me? How do I build up that sense of goodwill amongst other people so that when they get to know me and what I do, there's an impact there because they actually have an affinity towards me. They like me to begin with. Now I'm introducing myself, but I'm introducing myself on the premise of who I am, what my business is, and my values. And so in your introduction, guys, are you introducing yourself with values or things that are important to you? I mean, you can't say, I'm Nathan and I believe in integrity. I believe in not being a slumlord versus being a real estate investor. But you can talk about those types of things in the introduction conversation, can't you? You can bring them up early. Do you script them out and sit down and say, these are the core things that I stand for. And when I talk to somebody, I'm going to talk to them about things that matter to me so they know that that's who I am. I have found lots of real estate investors who they're trying to get and find deals, right? So they're going out to different networking groups and whatever, and it's all about, do you have a deal? Send me a deal. It's never about, hey, Nathan, how can I help you grow your property management business? Hey, Nathan, I have some consulting clients that I really think would be really good for you to spend some time coaching their salespeople. You would do a great job in this situation or that situation. It's not typically, I don't find typically people looking to help me. And so the fact that I don't see a lot of people typically to help me in those different environments and situations tells me that not a lot of people understand the importance of what I'm doing that helps other businesses grow so fast. It's building a connection around values, building a connection after establishing likability. So the process is establish affinity and then introduce yourself. Who are you and what matters to you? And build around those values so other people know that about you. I mean, most of those times that people, they watch this show, they know that I talk about values-based investing. And it's an extension of stewarding the resources that are given to us so that we can continue to grow them, whether that's with Red Maples, which is our property management organization that shows institutional management to small multifamily real estate investors, whether it's that style of stewardship of other people's resources, or whether it's resources that we own, personal resources that we've bought, and we're stewarding those through values-based investing. Guys, I lead with the ethics. Do you lead with your ethics? Do you lead with your values? Because that's who you are. And if I don't hear the values from you when you're talking, when we're having the initial conversations, then the question becomes, can I move forward in the relationship knowing that there's a lack of values on the other side? It's one of those things that, one of the things that we value at Red Maples is the partnership approach, right? So when I sit down with an initial investor and I'm going through the onboarding process of establishing the connection and building the relationship, one of the things I tell them is that we underwrite every deal. And that's because as partners, we need to understand the finances of the investor as much as they need to understand whether we can support them through the service that they're looking for. Both conversations are important, right? Do we have the means and the resources to support your growth of your organization? Do you have the finances to be able to support the real estate asset that you have? When I'm establishing a connection and rapport and they're getting to know me, they're learning all about my values and that partnership approach. And then I tell them that we're going to underwrite the transaction and that I need certain information in order to be able to move forward. That's part of institutional style property management, is understanding the entire investment. When I say that, the value is transparent. So I'm establishing that connection with people right up front because they understand how much I care about them and their business. They can also see the partnership approach that I just talked to them about is part of that core values conversation. So you guys, don't miss the boat on connecting. Don't miss the boat on introducing who you are. It's not a sale. Look, people in today's economy, in today's world, they have used the word sales to mean something of controlling other people. I don't look at a sales process like there's any control at all. I look at the process as a marketing process from beginning to end, and then a collections process starts. So let's say I'm buying property. You're marketing all the way until an accepted offer happens, and then you're collecting all of the paperwork to ensure that that transaction changes ownership from them to you. Buying is the reverse of selling, but it's still a marketing process of identifying the deal, of establishing the connection, asking the right questions, educating others on what it is that you want to do, then set the intention with them, align your interest with them, and ask for referrals. The process of growth doesn't change. It doesn't matter whether you're trying to grow a real estate investing business or whether you're trying to grow a virtual assistant business or you're trying to grow an insurance agency or you're trying to grow a hearing aid company. The process of growth doesn't change. And so establishing good connections is it's the first step. If you can't establish connections with people, guys, then all of the rest of the stuff you're trying to do, it just doesn't matter. Well, Nathan, you're talking about networking today. Networking is part of connecting. It's not the only part of connecting, but it's part of connecting. Nathan, you're talking about cold calling. Well, in cold calling, you need to connect. It's not the only thing you need to do on a cold call, but you need to connect. Well, Nathan, today you're only talking about small talk. I told you, I don't believe in the conversation of small talk. I'm talking to you about how to get to the values, which is the thing about who you are, in the best way, in the quickest way possible, so other people can understand who you are and what you bring to the table and why you're different. And if you don't know these things, guys, that's why you work with a coach. That's why you sit down and you work through the process of defining your mission statement and who you are and what you value. You can't even get into the connecting step unless you've done that. And we've talked a lot about that on this show. We've talked about how important our missions are. We've talked all about different parts of the process. But this part of the process is critical in connecting. So introducing who you are includes your name. It includes the name of your business. It includes your position within that business. It includes what you do for that business. It includes the reason for your mission. And it certainly includes your values. I can't make that any more clear or any more simple for you guys. You've got to lead with your values if you're going to connect with other individuals. All right. Affinity, all about them, all about establishing like. Introduction, all about who you are and why they would want to do business with you. The last piece is the trust piece that we've got to establish with other people if we're going to build a genuine connection with them. The last piece is this piece of confidence, trust. What does confidence come from? Anybody know? Those that are watching online today, where does your confidence come from? Go ahead and put that in the comments. Where does confidence come from? You know, I had a mentor one time that told me that confidence comes from our daily disciplines and fulfilling on those daily disciplines and never unfulfilled obligations to ourselves. That's what the mentor told me. I don't know how true that is about confidence. I know that the root word of confidence is to confide. So what are you confiding in? For me, I find an overwhelming sense of confidence, not arrogance, not ego, comes from knowing what I've been able to achieve so far and understanding that the development process is God's and God's alone and not mine. What do I mean by that? That means that I yield my life to what I believe is the will that God has for me. And in that process, He's going to develop me to achieve and aspire the things that He wants me to do for Him, so that I'm in complete service to what He's asking. Now, if we don't want to go completely spiritual for a second, and I know some of you guys just tuned out, stopped listening, please don't. Please don't. You might not be there yet. You might be trying to say, well, how do I gain this confidence? But I'm not all the way there in my spiritual walk yet. I'm not yielded to God's purpose for my life. Let me start with something that might be a lot more foundational and a little bit more practical and not make you feel so uncertain on the inside. How can you establish some trust here? I'll explain it like this. You've got to believe that there's truth in this world. Truth. It's just very simple. Things are either true or they're not true. And for anything to exist, there has to be truth. It's a fact that there's a video camera in front of me. Just because you believe something different doesn't mean that there's not a video camera in front of me. There's literally a video camera in front of me. That is true. That's what allows us to have this connection online. When I stand in alignment with that truth, that gives me confidence, because the things that I'm saying are in 100% alignment with reality, with facts, with truth. And so if you want to gain more confidence, simply move to being more truthful. Don't lie. The minute you lie, you move yourself away from confidence. The minute you lie, you move yourself into a situation where you're not in alignment with the facts that are going on. And so when you don't live in a factual world, you begin to lose trust in the facts that you believe. And so it's easier to have more confidence when you live by certain principles that you have found to be truth. So don't change yourself away from this concept of truth. Don't allow yourself into becoming a person who lacks character and ethics and morality, because all you're going to do is lose your ability to be in alignment with truth, thus losing confidence, thus losing trust with other people, thus losing your ability to connect with other individuals. That's why know, like, and trust is so important in building a connection with another individual, building out the care in your growth of your business, of yourself, of your company, of your real estate investment that you're trying to achieve. So we've gone over a bunch of things today, guys. I hope this has been really helpful for you. I don't have a lot more information to go through. I got a couple more things that we're going to share and talk about. But I hope this has been significantly helpful for you. These are the types of things, learning how to connect with others is the types of things that have changed my life significantly. Some of you guys in one of the recent polls that I had put out on the YouTube channel said that selling was something that you were interested in me sharing more information about on my YouTube channel. And so this is a first step in you learning how to sell. If you're going to learn how to sell, is that you learn how to connect. And remember, the 3 parts or the 3 steps of the connection process was building a genuine affinity, a like, introducing yourself, a knowing you, and a confidence a deal, building trust with other people. And so that's how you do it, guys. That's the steps. If you have any questions, again, put those in the comments. I'd be happy to come back through the comments and answer some of those comments for you guys so that you can build better connections and establish better rapport with your clients, with your prospects, with people you're trying to achieve success with. If you'd like to know more about how to connect with other people, and this has been interesting for you, this has been beneficial for you, I do have a book that I wrote called The Caesar Method. You are welcome to go online at Amazon and purchase a copy of that book. Another way that you could get this information and a little bit more in depth about this type of information is to set up a one-on-one consultation with me. I'll do a free coaching session with anybody, guys. And if connection is your thing that you need to be able to grow and scale your organization, or maybe you'd like to be able to grow and scale and achieve rapid strategic results within your business, whether it's connecting or growth that you're struggling with, just reach out to me. I'll be happy to have those one-on-one coaching conversations with you. It's free. There's no cost to sit down with me one time. The only real cost to it is I ask that I can record it, if possible, with you. If it's not, that's okay. I ask that I can record it so I can share it with people who are in my Inner Circle program. And those people that are in my Inner Circle program significantly benefit from me adding value to your life by connecting with you and sharing with you some coaching that will help you grow and scale your organization, whether that's learning how to connect or any other aspect of growth that you struggle with. All right, guys. And that Renovation Nation brings us to the end of another episode. I know, I get sad at the end of these two. However, there is positive news. We do this each Friday at noon. And so if you like this type of information, excuse me, if you like this type of information and you'd like to get more of this regularly, there's a couple of things you can do in order to get your citizenship to Mind Renovation Nation. And what you're going to do is you're going to hit subscribe at the YouTube channel. You're also going to go over to www.nathanbushmba.com/subscribe, sign up for my email list, and you're going to share the show. That way other people can participate with you every Friday at noon with this conversation. And guys, oftentimes I come back behind the comments section in these shows and I'm able to reach out to people. Sometimes I don't want to embarrass anybody, so I'll have a direct one-on-one conversation with them so we can help them overcome whatever question or challenge or concern that they have. So if you do have those questions, challenges, or concerns, put them in the comments and I'll follow back up with you. But that's why you share the show, so that other people can participate with this and you can get answers from some of their questions whenever I answer them on the show live. All right. So join me next time for more insights and inspiration. And of course, a little bit of that nation building spirit that drives us to create a community united by shared values, purpose, and a commitment to leaving a lasting legacy. Until then, guys, keep building, keep growing, and let's lead more than 25,000 souls to a life of values-based investing. In our journey of Mind Renovation Nation, we often talk about personal growth, ethical leadership, and making impactful choices. Values-based investing is an extension of that philosophy. It's about being a steward not only of our finances, but of our values and vision for the future. Thanks for watching, guys, today. I'm signing off from the heart of St. Louis. Stay blessed, stay inspired, and remember, every day is a chance to renovate your nation.